Nice. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Stephen Hemingway. I am a junior at UNF, and I'm going to be talking about spring break today. It's March 17th. You just failed your Calc 3 final, or your midterm. You had a terrible day in biochem, and your parents aren't sending you any more money until the end of the month. However, you just remembered that your sorority got an Airbnb and PCB for the entire week. It's spring break. Spring break draws people from all over the country to many destinations. One of the main attractions, or some of the main attractions of spring break, is partying and drinking. These, however, can cause more of a curse than a blessing for your time in spring break. First, today I'm going to talk about a brief history of how spring break came to be as we know it. Next, I'm going to talk about some consequences that the week-long party has. And finally, I'm going to wrap up with some ideas to safely enjoy spring break. So first, spring break's been around longer than you guys probably think. According to Dr. Ben Brotemartels, it started in Fort Lauderdale in the 1930s. College swim teams would come down to Fort Lauderdale to use their Olympic-sized swimming pools, because those were the first Olympic-sized swimming pools that they had in Florida. And when they weren't training or swimming in the pools, they would go to the beaches and party on the beaches, and that's what would be their spring break. It wasn't until after World War II, though, that other students started to realize how much fun they were having and would come down with them, and then that was how spring break was born, really. Glendon Swarthout actually wrote a novel called Where the Boys Are, and it eventually became a film, and nothing was the same after that film came out. In the film, there were several deeply moral messages about the implications of being carefree during spring break. However, the people who saw this film, all of them just ignored those messages and looked straight at the people who were super cool and partying on the beach during spring break. And so after this movie was out, the following years, the attendance in Fort Lauderdale and places like that doubled to almost 50,000 people during the spring break time. So basically, in the history of spring break, students wanted a break from school, but it grew to wanting a break from life, basically, and just being carefree. Where the Boys Are pointed out some disturbing things that go on during spring break. The worst part is those things have kind of gotten worse since then. When leaving to go on spring break with friends, drinking a lot is a really big expectation, and it can lead to some very serious consequences. A study at some Midwestern university showed that 4,000 students that were in the study, it was over a 3-year period from their freshman to junior year of college, and the study was a survey that they had to complete that asked how much you drink on a regular basis, how much you drink during spring break, and how much or where you go on spring break and what you do. And what was found from the study is that a lot of the kids who went to popular spring break destinations with friends would drink a lot more than people who would go with their family or stay at home. So basically, this study shows that the typical party destinations lead to a dramatic increase of alcohol consumption, and this can lead to many unforeseen consequences such as unprotected sex, non-consensual sex, DUIs, arrests, and other bad things. Aside from the moral consequences, there's also many educational consequences that excessive drinking can entail. According to a law firm in Minnesota, some university disciplinary actions could be losing scholarships, losing student loans, removal from athletic teams, as well as being kicked out of campus housing or even expulsion from the university. It's important to realize these risks involved in going away on spring break and making bad decisions, but it's also important to be responsible so these mistakes aren't made. It's not frowned upon to go away with friends on spring break. However, some ways to stay safe during spring break and still have a lot of fun, whether you're at a popular destination or not. The main purpose of spring break eventually is just to get a break from essays, exams, and discussion boards. However, spring break also tends to be a time for recklessness and low standards. There needs to be a way to relax as well as a way to stay safe during spring break. When traveling safely, travel safely. Always make sure no drinking and driving when going from places where alcohol is going to be consumed. Also, when traveling to unknown areas with friends, definitely use the buddy system because it makes things a lot safer. Don't feel pressured to go away on spring break and party if you don't feel like it. There are many fun things to do that don't involve blacking out on spring break. I really love outdoors, so an ideal spring break for me is camping somewhere up in the mountains. Another idea is just relaxing at home or even on campus. We do live in Florida, so going to the beach is a really fun thing to do, and it's not that far. You don't always need to be partying. Sometimes the best spring break is just relaxing by the pool or at the beach. So allow me to close the discussion of spring break with a few final thoughts. I believe I've taught you all a great ideal of the current way spring break was originated. Also, I believe you guys have I've given you guys a lot of examples of consequences and mistakes that you can make on spring break, as well as a lot of alternative spring break ideas so you can be fun and safe. Next time you're wanting to get away from calc through your biochem, or next time your parents' emergency fund runs out in a matter of days, remember to be safe and smart and have fun during spring break. I'd like to end this discussion with a quote I found from Robin Williams. Spring is nature's way of saying, let's party. Thank you very much.
108 seconds away.